Let's bring in our political team for what they're hearing. Let me start out with our chief Washington correspondent, John Carl. And John, you watched the interview. You've been talking to people all across Washington. What are you hearing?
Well, George, look, Biden looked better and certainly more coherent than he looked during the debate.
I mean, because he looked really bad in the debate. Yeah. It's like, that's a low bar to set. You know what I mean? He looked a little bit better than the debate. Still not great.
There's nothing in this interview that is calming nerves of jittery Democrats who fear that Joe Biden is on a trajectory to lose this race, to lose to Donald Trump. In fact, for some of those people, the interview is raising new concerns, particularly.
Okay, the interview just happened. What do you mean it's raising new concerns? How do they know? How do they know? What the fuck?
To the host of the interview, he was like, I need to go to the doctor right now and talk about look at Biden.
The fact that he is unwilling or unaware of the fact that he is in a dire situation here regarding the campaign. That he is losing.
Yeah, because he's demented, dog. That's why he like doesn't even understand that he's underwater.
Losing in the view of many Democrats, and frankly, in the polls you cited that he is losing to Donald Trump. And there was one question that you asked where his answer is particularly, I believe, alarming to some of those Democrats. You asked him how he will feel in January if he has lost to Donald Trump and all that he has warned would happen came to pass. And this was his answer. He said,
this is the worst
I'll
part,
feel as long as I gave it my all and did the best job I know I can do, that's what this is about. One prominent ally of the
Yeah, I know. They're trying to clean it up a little bit. No, sir. He specifically said goodest. I'm the goodest boy.
The president simply responded to me, wow, when I asked about that question. So the bottom line here, there was no.
The White House actually disputed that he said goodest job or goodest job. The White House wants a word. Wait, what?
But none of those make sense.
What is a good ass job?
It's Australian. It's like good as.
Yeah, you say good ass job.
Good ass.
Yeah, but
job.
Biden is not.
Or you saying a good ass job?
Yeah, good ass job. ABC News tweaked this transcript of an intriguing moment in his Friday interview with the president after the Biden administration and news outlets raised questions. This is the victory. This is the path to victory. You don't understand. No, the White House is killing it right now, dude. Oh my God. Yeah, he said good ad job. That's what he said. ABC News adjusted his initial transcript of a much discussed moment in the President Biden's Friday interview at the White House. Oh my God, it's so bad. Oh my God, this is what we're doing? Oh, this is so bad. The moment occurred after the end of Mr. Biden's interview when George Stephanopoulos asked the president how he would feel if he stayed in the presidential race and was defeated by former President Donald J. Trump. I'll feel as long as I gave it my all and I did the goodest job I know I can do.
But good as is not any better.
I did the good as job and I know I can do. Like as good as a job. As good as a job is not good as job.
Good ass job.
What the fuck?
Oh, it would be really fun to be on his campaign and like try to come up with the ways to save him.
He was actually quoting someone from the 80s movie. You know, that's a good memory.
The moment occurred towards the end of Mr. Biden's interview. I feel as long as I gave it my all and I did the good ass job I know I can do.
Good ass job.
This is so psychotic because like their defense of this, like as good as a job as I can do is like 4 additional words, bro. He did not say those words. So if your defense is, no, he said I'll do as good as job as I can do, then you're still failing.
Yeah.
Like that actually low-key makes this sound even fucking worse, as a matter of fact. How is that possible?
It's also not relevant. Like, are you denying he can't speak? Like
it's very obvious.
It's very obvious. You're nitpicking this one sentence.
No, but
like, no, this was right. This one here.
Fine.
This is so bad, bro. This is so bad. By Saturday afternoon, the quote in Network's online transcript had changed slightly. I'll feel as long as I gave it my all and I did the good ass job as I know I can do. That's what this is about.
That's actually worse than goodest.
He didn't say that. Why is this a moment of contest? Like, why is this being contested? Like, also, maybe they think this is like a good way to neutralize the fact that he said, oh, I'll get a participation trophy, even though like the entire narrative has been democracy's on the fucking ballot. And now instead of democracy's on the ballot, what's on the ballot is like, Joe Biden trying his hardest and still losing.
Nothing in this interview that will force Joe Biden out of the race. There was no, major thing that will convince him or any of his allies. I believe they have to go. But there's also nothing in this interview that will calm the nerves of Democrats who are saying it is time for him to get out.
Martha Raddatz, the president is talking to a lot of people, but he appears to be listening to a very tight circle.
Scratching your eye.
A very tight circle, and administration officials I have spoken to said that very tight inner circle is telling them he can win, that he needs to keep going. This, of course, includes his wife, Jill, who they said is lashing out at those who...
Connery's pants. He's literally trying his best. Lamau, some people will always be haters. You're right.
Yeah. He's
I'm
doing
sorry.
the goodest job.
I apologize. I'm doing a goodest job. That's... Fuck!
Want him to get out of the race. This was a Joe Biden pumped up on his inner circle, telling him that again and again. They think he will have many opportunities, but those not in the inner circle say this will also expose him to a great deal of risk. And George, I've talked to a few people too, and texting with a few people as well on the Hill. They say it was better than they expected, wasn't as bad.
I told you guys that he wasn't going to have like massive flubs, and he didn't have like ginormous flubs in the sense that like he did in the debate. But if there was no way to salvage the situation unless he became an entirely different person, unless the Illuminati cloned him. And he's just like super competent, super with it. He like basically became like a Gavin Newsom type, then maybe, but that's not going to happen. The Illuminati is asleep at the wheel. Okay. He just looked less worse, still bad, just less worse.
Bad as they expected, but that's a pretty low
Stop asking me.
bar, George.
Chill.
And Mary Bruce, what are you hearing from the White House?
George, the White House tonight reacting in one word, strong. Look, you heard the president there, and his team strongly do believe that this is all being overblown, that Joe Biden has been underestimated and written off before, only to come back strong and win. They believe if he can continue to do interviews like this, if he can continue to get out in front of the American people, that this too shall pass. But the president there truly didn't grasp the severity of this moment, the magnitude of that growing chorus of concern from Democrats. He dismissed that, dismissed the trends that we are seeing in the polls. But what we are hearing from Democrats isn't concern about one bad night. They are concerned that Joe Biden doesn't have what it takes not only to continue governing, but that he has what it takes to win. But the president is adamant that he is still the best one to take on Donald Trump. And you heard there, he clearly doesn't want to entertain the possibility that Democrats may come to him and urge him to step aside, saying only the Lord Almighty could convince him of that.
And that is the key question right now. So I want to go to our senior congressional correspondent, Rachel Scott. The most important audience probably right now for the president and the White House are those Democratic leaders on Capitol Hill. And there has been some ferment in the last couple of hours.
Exactly, George. And they were watching tonight, I can tell you that. In fact, just minutes before your interview aired, you had a fourth Democratic lawmaker come forward in the House and call on the president to step aside. That was Congressman Mike Quigley of Illinois. I have talked to a number of Democrats that were glued in watching this interview. One Democratic senator telling me that the president is clear-eyed about the demands of the presidency, the urgency of the moment, and the importance of defeating Donald Trump. But others say that they still have concerns, that the dam hasn't broken tonight, but the bleeding has not stopped either. Another Democrat telling me better but not sure that it's enough, that they need more than one interview, more than 22 minutes to...
How much consent is being manufactured for Biden? No, there isn't. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think the otherwise liberal media sees the polls, sees the fucking writing on the wall, and is either A, genuinely worried about Biden's chances and like are basically turning on him entirely. Like he has lost the media support completely. They are cooking him with like HasanAbi 2020 ferocity. Okay. Like they are doing shit that I was doing in 2020 when I was like, dude, he's so old. What the fuck are we doing here? Which is surprising because he was old back then as well. And the media definitely carried him across the finish line. Meanwhile, his circle is getting smaller and smaller within the Democratic Party. His loyalists are getting smaller and smaller. And everybody's out for blood. They're in a feeding frenzy at this moment. So they know, one, it's the worst situation overall for Biden because, like, one, I think partially they are worried about Biden being so fucking old that, like, Trump is going to cook him. Okay. And two, I think that there is a lot of clicks for shitting on Biden. And that creates a unique set of circumstances where they will keep pushing that button over and over again. It is now the narrative. The narrative has been set that he is very old. So they're going to keep hitting that line. I mean, dude, this fucking full-on interview got 1.1 million views. Like, the interview got watched by a lot of people. I think you got like 8 million people watching it and shit. Like, it's not good.
To prove that the president has the stamina to continue in this race and defeat Donald Trump. A different Democrat putting it to me this way, George. There's no question that Biden must win the election, but he will not be in a position to stop a movement. And tonight, George, that movement against him is growing.
Well, and that's what I want to get into with John Carl in a little more detail. John, we talked about Mark Warner, senator from Virginia, a battleground state. The Democrats have won the past few elections, but appears to be more in play right now. He's circulating that letter.
Yeah, and I've spoken to colleagues of Senator Warner's who have spoken to him about this. It's a serious effort. Senator Warner's concerns, he has real concerns about whether or not Biden can beat Donald Trump. He thinks he's come to a pivotal moment for the party and for the nation. And his concerns are not alone. Frankly, a lot of other Democrats have been unwilling to speak publicly because they want Biden to come to this on his own, and they're concerned that coming out and speaking publicly will only backfire. But it is a widespread
one
belief
last
among
meeting
Democrats.
we want to end. Rachel Scott, Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader in the House, has now called House Democrats for a Zoom meeting on Sunday.
And this will be coming right before Democrats head back to Capitol Hill. That is going to be pivotal. I'm told that the Democratic leader has been measured in his approach, really trying to calm the nerves and give the president the space to make this decision. But he is getting quite an earful from House Democrats who are concerns about if the president can defeat Donald Trump this November, George.
Not just one bad night, two bad nights. Come on. That's all this is. Another bad night. I mean, everybody chill out. Just another bad night. There's going to be probably more of them, but who cares?
Chris, you had that one-word response from the White House, the campaign weighing in now as well?
Oh, George, the campaign understandably is eager to turn this back to Donald Trump and back to the issues. Look, their thinking on all of this is that this shouldn't be about, performance, that this is about the issues and the substance. They want, as the president tried to do there in your interview, they want to hammer what the president has accomplished, what he could do going forward, and are obviously very eager to make sure to highlight what is at stake here. The challenge is that so much of that has now been overshadowed by these questions about the president's age. And that is what Democrats are deeply concerned about, that the messaging here is being lost in the way it is being delivered. The question is whether or not the president's interview tonight, whether or not his appearances that we have seen in the last few days and will see in the days to come, whether that is going to be enough to quell any of this concern and get Democrats back on track.
The fact that all of us face Martha Raddatz, none of us can stop the clock.
No one can stop the clock. And this is about age. That's exactly what that's about. And this will dominate this campaign. Aging is not like a broken bone. It doesn't get better. So there is an opportunity every time he goes out, every time Joe Biden goes out.
Age is like a broken bone. Age is not like a broken bone. It doesn't get better. Oof. Damn, I'm kind of mad. That's a banger line. I'm mad I didn't think of it first. I've been making this same exact fucking joke for a while, but that's like a way more poetic way to put it. Damn, when they want to be, they can actually... When they want to be, the media can actually do their job, and it's fucking annoying.
It's so disconcerting that I've seen it happen in a week. Overnight. I'm just like, what the fuck are you talking? What have you been doing this entire time?
It's very, very frustrating that they didn't do this before, and only now are they attempting to do it. And it's like, where was this fucking energy in 2020, man? You guys are such assholes. Fuck you. Yeah, they were too busy talking about how Bernie Sanders is going to lead an intifada in America and fucking execute billionaires and shit.
That he show his age. I mean, he said he is not more frail. You ask him, you told him, you say, watch me. Everyone is watching, and believe me, they are going to be watching even more closely as we go forward, George.
It is funny. I mean, I do feel vindicated.
Thanks to all of you.
Thanks, it's kind of funny to hear the ABC senior political correspondent panel basically reflect all of the things that I've been saying about the situation. It's kind of odd.
I don't think it's gratifying, though. I think it's offensive seeing them do it.
It makes me feel like they're up to something different. I'm like, what's happening now? Why are you saying it now?
An even older guy.
That's what Jimmy Carter. Welcome back, Jimmy Carter.
Democratic Party in turmoil this morning, just 4 months from Election Day and weeks before the nominating convention. More Democratic lawmakers are abandoning the president. ABC's Selena Wang joins us now from the White House with the latest. Good morning, Selena.
Hey, good morning, Gio. President Biden is trying to stop the bleeding, but panic in the Democratic Party is only spreading. More donors and allies I'm speaking to say the president is in denial about his ability to defeat Donald Trump.
This morning, crisis in the Democratic Party deepens. Now a fifth Democratic lawmaker calling for President Biden.
Yeah, there's not any new photos you can use that look good. That, to be fair to the media, they can't do nothing about that.
To drop out of the race. Congresswoman Angie Craig from Minnesota saying, I do not believe that the president can effectively campaign and win against Donald Trump. More lawmakers could soon join the chorus. Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries is planning to hold a meeting with Democratic leaders in the House this afternoon, sources tell ABC News. And ABC News has also learned Senator Mark Warner is working to get a group of Senate Democrats together to discuss whether Biden should step aside. Senator Tammy Baldwin from Battleground, Wisconsin, says she'll have lots.
I like that. I like that. Biden's response to that was, he's just jealous. He wanted to run for president one time. Like, that was cool. Not that it's like a genuine panic setting within the Democratic Party, because like for the first time, the top of the ticket is actually hurting the chances of down ballot races, because the down ballot races are outperforming the top of the ticket. And it's actually just like that he's jealous.
Lots of discussions with our colleagues when Congress reconvenes on Monday.
I'll be seeing and interacting with my colleagues. I'm sure we'll have lots of discussion.
But when George Stephanopoulos asked what Biden would do if top members of Congress asked him to step aside, the president was defiant.
Well, it's like, we're not going to do that.
You sure?
Well, yeah, I'm sure. Look. I mean, if the Lord Almighty came down and said, Joe, get out of the race, I'll get out of the race. The Lord Almighty's not coming down.
More donors are sounding the alarm after that interview. Mega donor Reed Hastings, the co-founder of Netflix, saying Biden is unfortunately in denial about his mental state. He needs to step aside to let a vigorous Democratic leader beat Trump.
They're trying to push me out of the race. Well, let me say this as clearly as I can.
Oh, he's loud. He can yell.
But who? Like,
it's a dog whistle. He's talking about Muslims.
They're trying to put no. They're trying to push me out of the race. Like, what? Who, bro? It's the same energy as like when I get knocked down, I get back up again. And it's like, who knocked you down? You knocked yourself down. Nobody knocked you down. You're old.
He's been busy doing wars.
Yeah. And NATO. I've been doing NATO and wars.
I'm staying in the race.
Even after Biden's fiery campaign rally in Wisconsin on Friday, not all voters there were convinced.
How would you say this rally changed or didn't change your perception of the president?
Well, I wouldn't say it changed my perception of the president. I mean, I think what happened last Thursday night was worrisome.
Thursday made me worry, and I think
I have a sneaking suspicion. I don't think it's unfounded, and I don't want to be controversial here when I make this assessment that these people are just Democratic Party loyalists and will happily vote for anyone that is on the top of that ticket. And not necessarily Joe Biden loyalists who are like really motivated that Joe Brandon is running. Is that,
I don't know.
Am I crazy? I don't.
What is the protocol? Can they replace him with anyone? Or is it just go to Kamala?
They could replace him with anyone, but Kamala is probably the safest bet. I'm just saying, I feel like these guys wouldn't, I don't think there would be any people that would be like, oh, well, I'm not voting for the Democratic Party now that Joe Biden isn't running.
No, I saw that kid on TikTok. He seems pretty pro-Biden.
No, Harry Sasan, are you kidding me? He would fucking gladly vote for whoever the fuck is on the Democrat. He's just a Democratic guy.
Right. No, I think Biden makes a compelling case. I think there are some real dyed-in-the-wool Biden supporters.
They're out there.
Yeah, he does a good job.
Yeah, he constitutes a dire threat. If he drops out, all the fucking Brandon loyalists are just going to be, never. They're like, only for Brandon do we vote for the Democratic Party.
in this kind of setting. I want to see him in other settings.
The Biden campaign believes they can still turn things around by getting the president out on the trail more. He's making 2 campaign stops in Pennsylvania today. But many in the party are saying there's really not much the president can do to change his image. The damage, they say, is already done.
Selena Wang for us. Thank you so much.
Before the president sat down with George Stephanopoulos, he spoke with two black radio hosts in the battleground states of Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. Both are with me now. Earl Ingram is the host of the Earl Ingram Show in Milwaukee, and Andrea Lawful Sanders is the host of The Source on WURD in Philadelphia. Welcome to you both. Congratulations on such a big week. And Earl, let me start with you. And I'm going to play here the president's answer to your question about his performance in the debate. Here's what he told you.
I had a bad night. And the fact of the matter is that, it was, I screwed up. I made a mistake. But I learned from my father, when you get knocked down, just get back up. Get back up.
Did you hear the version of the president, similar to one we saw the debate, that alarmed so many Democrats? Gauge for me what your exchange was with the president.
Well, you're talking about a person, myself, who has followed the president for over 45 years. I've watched him from a very when I was a very young man to where he is now. Clearly, not just the president, but any person over a 45-year period there's going to be some changes to who they were. As
this guy still sounds pretty like.
I'm not surprised that Joe Biden is not who he was 45 years ago. I am a little surprised that the Joe Biden of today is different from the Joe Biden of 2 years ago, of even a year ago.
He's not.
How so?
Well, clearly, cognitively.
Oh no. Oh no, dude, I thought this was not hostile territory. Bro, he got the fucking interview of his lifetime and now he's talking shit. Oh, brother.
No, but he's still playing along. He's pretending that it wasn't like that in the first election.
That's crazy. That's crazy that he's just, fake friends all around, dude. Fake friends all around. God damn, dude.
Anybody who hears him and knows of him and who he has been will detect that there are some differences in his speech. People attribute that constantly to the fact that he has a speech impediment. He's always had a speech impediment.
Biden's like, I didn't believe in magic before I saw my dogs turn into snakes. They're doing the damn thing. Cut the malarkey, Jack. I thought we had something. You're sick.
His entire life. But people hadn't been talking about the fact that he has a speech impediment until, the last few weeks. And clearly there's something that is different about President Joe Biden.
Yeah. He says that he will not be taking or releasing a cognitive test. Andrea, let me ask you here about your interviews and something. I listened to both of them, and there's something that's similar here. You asked 4 questions, and maybe that's what you were allowed to ask by the campaign or the White House.
These are, by the way, this guy and the MENA version of this guy, they both look very similar to one another, are my 2 favorite CNN anchors. I'm not even joking, especially the MENA version of that guy.
What's MENA?
Middle Eastern, North Africa.
Oh, right. They both have perfect heads.
They have the perfect bald head and the perfect shaped up beard. You know who I'm talking about? What's the other guy's name? You guys know who I'm talking about. He does actually pretty solid coverage on Palestine on CNN. God damn it. No, not Ali Velshi. That's MSNBC. On CNN. He's one of the newer anchors. I don't even know if he's actually MENA. He just looks Arab though. Let me see. Yeah, Boris Sanchez. I guess he's not MENA at all, actually. What the fuck? But dude, I mean, he looks very Arab,
Arab coded.
He does. He looks hella Arab. Bro, come on. Tell me how this guy is not just the MENA version of this guy. Okay? And they're both my 2 favorite. They're both my 2 favorite anchors on CNN. He is so Arab coded. It's not even funny. Okay? MENA. What? Yeah, Boris Sanchez. He's Latino, but obviously, as you guys know, Flexicans are Turks. So, and to be fair, global Latina belt, bro. If this motherfucker went to Egypt, they literally would not cook him in the cabs. Okay, he would be paying the local rate for the taxis because everyone would just immediately take him for granted. They'd be like, "Oh no, you're an Arab guy. You're one of us." I'm not even joking. MENA, Mexican North America. Al Andalus still lives in this man. Bald, by the way. I know. I do love my balds. Anyway, let's continue.
House. But they were essentially the same questions, both interviews, about accomplishments, progress in your respective state, what's at stake in the election, what he has to say about his debate performance, and what he would say to voters who think their vote doesn't matter or might sit this election out. Were those questions given to you by the White House or the campaign, or did you have to submit questions ahead of this interview?
The questions were sent to me for approval. I approved them.
Okay, so the White House sent the questions to you ahead of the interview?
Yes.
Okay.
I got several questions, 8 of them, and the 4 that were chosen were the ones that I approved.
Okay. And the reason I ask is not a criticism of either of you. It's just that if the White House is trying now to prove the vim, vigor, acuity of the president, I don't know how they do that by sending questions first before the interview so that the president knows what's coming. Let me play here a bit of your interview. This is...
Wait, say you have a president that's being falsely maligned for, I don't know, his mental fortitude. Let's say he's like, you're outed for setting up pre-scripted interviews. I feel like that's not good.
And you've probably seen it's gotten a lot of attention. This is when he was asked about his accomplishments as president. Let's play it.
I'm proud to be, as I said, the first vice president, the first black woman, served with a black president.
Did you hear, as it's being covered, the president say that he was proud to be the first black woman president? Because that's what the headlines all over the internet are suggesting.
I find it interesting that they saw and heard that. What I got from him was that he was intimating that Kamala Harris was the first black woman vice.
I mean, she's right. Like, he fucked up, but she's right. Like, if you notice, like, I'm there. When it comes to shitting on Biden, I'll be there no matter what, okay? And what is the first thing I said when that dropped? I said, under normal circumstances, this would be completely written off as like, oh, he's very obviously trying to say something, but he like fucked it up a little bit on the delivery. He paused weirdly, whatever, right? But these are not normal circumstances. The narrative is now set that Biden is cognitively declining. All eyes are on him. And any kind of fucking flub, and he has many flubs. Even when his mental cognition was actually A1, he still had a lot of flubs. Biden, for those of you who don't know, was always a gaffer. I don't mean that in like the Hollywood production sense of the word. Like he always gaffed. He was a gaff machine. He was always a bit of a goofy guy. He always made these like, silly mistakes and stuff that maybe even made him a little bit more relatable at times. The problem is, now, people are not as charitable. So, of course, this kind of mistake is going to be repeated over and over and over again. And that's the only motherfucking thing you're going to hear from the media for the upcoming couple of months.
President.
Unless he drops out.
And I guess with his speech impediment, they heard something else. And I find it interesting that that was the only thing that they picked out of that entire conversation and ran with it. Look, we have a hard way to go in this country. I am listening to the community that is speaking to me every single day on WURD radio. We are answering, looking at the things that are mattering to us. We can't afford to get excited and fumble and flumble about what folks are thinking about the president and his frailty and his speeches. We are concerned about the purging of the government in Project 2025. We've been talking about this on WURD since January, fully and completely. The slashing of the Department of Justice and dismantling the FBI and replacing their traditional independence from political pressure with fealty to the administration. Those are the things that matter to us in the Black community. So when I ask them, what matters most to you, that President Biden has this speech impediment or that he's slowing down versus the other person who has all these other things going on, they keep saying to me, we did it on Friday on The Source, we did it Thursday, we keep asking them, they keep saying the same thing. We want the Democrats to win because we feel like if we do anything else, it's going to be a problem for us. What I'm concerned about is that no one really seems to be in the community talking to the very people who...
So this is why I say it don't matter if it's Brandon or someone else. Like, these people are not going to be like, oh, it's not Joe Biden. Well, I guess I'm not voting for the Democratic Party. These are if someone is willing to vote for the fucking carcass, they've already demonstrated their position that they would vote for anyone that's not Trump. So you can only go up from here. You're not going to fucking lose voters. You're not going to lose voters for people who are saying 75% of Democratic voters are saying they want a different candidate and that Biden is too old to be president, to do the regular president work, right? And yet 30% of the voters are still like actively petitioning for Biden to keep running. Those 30% are not diehard Biden loyalists in the way that like the 30% are absolutely the diehard MAGA loyalists that love Donald Trump. Those 30%ers are literally the no matter who, vote blue no matter who guys, okay? The people who are like, I will vote for a ham sandwich over Donald Trump. I will vote for anyone, anything over Donald Trump. Those people are not going to fucking turn around and be like, yeah, I'm not voting any longer. No, they're not neoliberals. No, brother, those people are not the Redditors, okay? Those people are like your aunts and uncles. A lot of black women, for example, like older voters that have been diehard, lifelong Democratic Party voters. You know what I mean? Those are like the actual base of the Democratic Party's base of support. Also, this woman apparently lost her fucking job, which had Biden's first interview post-debate, but used accused after by the Biden team, says they have parted ways with the host. Practice of delegitimizing black voices continues today. WURD radio is not a mouthpiece for Biden or any other admin. Accountability, Access, and a Path Forward, Why Black Media Matters by Sarah M. Lomax, president and CEO of Word Radio. She lost her fucking job. As a black woman, I'm offended by the Dems in action, but you have a very valid point. Yeah. Like, those people are going to vote. Those people are like the old school Democratic Party loyalists. They're going to vote no matter what. They don't care. If someone is demonstrating their capability of voting for Joe Biden at this stage, while still being very cognizant of the fact that his mental faculties are no longer what they used to be, that means they're going to vote for whoever the fuck is on the Democratic ticket. Okay? So the way I see it is like, for the Democrats, you have only room to gain in this situation. Does that make sense? This is not like a Trump calculation. Okay? This is not a Trump calculus. For the Republicans, there are a lot of people who might not vote for the Republican ticket if it's not Donald Trump. No, I think you lose plenty of votes for people who only want white men in office. Yeah, it's ironic you say that because Barack Obama was incredibly fucking popular, but who said there's not going to be a white man on the ticket? I never said that. By someone else would just mean Kamala, right? I mean, who knows? That seems like the most likely scenario at the moment as it stands. But it's probably going to be Kamala. It makes it easier. But yeah, it's unfortunate that she lost her job over this. This is pretty fucking crazy.